Today on this episode of the Brain Surgeon's Take, we will be discussing from D2 to the NBA, Never Stop Dreaming, with Miami Heat forward Haywood Highsmith. Find out how this former Division II Player of the Year overcame the odds and never gave up on playing in the NBA. Much more on this podcast episode. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We have the pleasure of speaking with Haywood Highsmith today. He is, of course, the Miami Heat forward who played a key role in last year's unexpected run to the NBA Finals. Hay was born in Baltimore and played college basketball for Wheeling Jesuit University, where he was named D2 Player of the Year in 2018. After not being selected in the NBA draft, Hay began his career with the Delaware Blue Coats of the G League. Late in 2018, Hay made his NBA debut with the 76ers. In later years, Hay played in multiple stints with the Blue Coats and the Merlins of the German Basketball Bundesliga. Most recently, in February of 2022, Hay signed a 3-year contract with Miami Heat, and the rest is history. Very excited to talk to him today about from D2 to the NBA, Never Stop Dreaming. Hey, super pumped to talk to you today, man. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you for having me.
Let's jump into just the sheer numbers. Over 5,000 individuals have played in the NBA over 76-year history, but only about 100 of these have been from D2. So you're talking about less than 2% chance of playing in the NBA. Knowing this, what was your mentality in college?
Yeah, so for me, I went to a smaller school, a Division II school. The NBA wasn't in my eyes. It wasn't, I didn't really see it coming, as far as how it came. I just try to get better each year. I was at my school, my Division II school, try to improve my game in different ways, and kind of worked out for the best. Each year I got better. Each year I started to develop more into a professional basketball player, and then when it was time to make that choice to go professionally, we could have took some different routes. Could have went overseas first, could have tried, some other things. But it is hard to get to the NBA from Division II for sure. I was Division II Player of the Year, All-American, and I didn't get really any NBA interest at first. I had to kind of use some connections, people I knew, and get my foot in the door. And once I got my foot in the door, I just had to keep going and keep proving myself because, people always going to look at me differently. I didn't go to a big time school. I wasn't at these, big universities. So, my journey was just different, and I battled and just fought hard for everything I got.
What was your biggest motivator?
I don't think I was trying to prove anything to anybody. I was just trying to prove to myself that I can do this, Ever since I was little, I loved basketball. I loved it a lot. Sometimes I didn't work as hard as I should have. I was kind of lazy or something like that. But once I got to college, I really started to apply that pressure and put the extra hours and the extra time in and really make basketball basketball is my life, really put the work in. And I didn't really have any motivation. I just learned how to work hard, and I wanted to prove to myself, that I could do this. And, I had a lot of support. So it was, it wasn't hard for me to just keep going and keep working.
Now, let's talk about the 2018 NBA draft. Were you expecting to be drafted? Was there disappointment? Was there any emotions involved with that draft?
Nah, I knew I wasn't going to get drafted. It's very rare for a Division II player to get drafted. Even if you're the best or whatever, it's very rare. So I knew I wasn't going to get drafted. I didn't even watch the draft. I wasn't disappointed at all. I knew what it was, and I knew I would have to get it, get there the hard way or get it out the mud.
Now, did you ever give up your dream of playing in the NBA? Like, maybe this ain't happening. Was that did that ever cross your mind?
At times I would say for sure I could see, things got harder, things got tougher. What's my calling me? Oh, okay, I'm back. Okay, as things got tougher, things got harder. I definitely, started to, have some type of second guess. Why would you Jesus. I'm so sorry. I'm on my
That's all
phone.
right.
Somebody was calling me. I'm so
I
sorry.
got you. No problem.
Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm so sorry.
All good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, absolutely.
I can't really hear you though. Hold up,
Oh, no?
bro.
How about now? Can you hear me? I can see you. Can you see me? I can see you. You there? Let me.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
back. I'm
all
back. I'm
good.
sorry.
All good.
My father called me because one of my family members died. He just texted me. It was a older relative, not not nothing crazy. It's cool. I'll deal with that after this. But for me, definitely, it's ups and downs throughout this journey trying to get to the NBA. Not everybody gets here. It's like point whatever percent. So sometimes you do have doubts. Sometimes you do think, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I need to try something else, something like that. But I just stayed with it and just control what I control and just put my head down and worked hard.
Now, let's talk about that transition from D2 to the NBA. How tough was that switch?
Yeah, for sure. The game is very different. Better players, obviously, more skill, bigger players. Game is faster. So for me, I definitely had to, kind of adjust. I had to recognize I'm not the best player on the floor every night. Obviously, it's going to be better players than me. I'll be lucky if I'll be the fifth best player, the 10th best player, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But just had to find a role that I could fit, and really be great at it. Playing defense, making open shots, playing off of the superstar players, making them better, or doing a little thing, stuff like that. So definitely had to adjust, and once I got it going, it's pretty much just second nature just to adjust.
Now, let me ask you a question. Coming from D2, do you enter every game with a chip on your shoulder, proving people wrong and crushing the naysayers?
Um, I mean, a little bit. I wouldn't, when right now for me, where I'm at, I represent Division Two, I represent the smaller schools for sure. But for me, I'm a basketball player. I'm not gonna say, oh, I came from D2. I'm trying to crush these guys because I put a chip on my shoulder. I always put a chip on my shoulder no matter what, because I've always been underrated, always been undervalued, always been overlooked. So I just played with an edge always. That's how I was growing up, how I was before I got to college, and how I was, after college. Now I'm in the NBA. So I definitely represent Division II, and I'm motivation for a lot of guys out there to think they can, make that, that jump to the NBA level or whatever. But I don't, use that as like, oh yeah, like So yeah.
Now, you've probably had a lot of these, but what would you say is your single greatest success thus far? Is there one pinnacle moment in your career?
Basketball career.
Yep.
Uh, my greatest success. I would think, when we beat Boston last in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, Game 7 in TD Garden. Just going in that environment as a team, everybody counted us out, and we did it. It was just a beautiful moment, and yeah, it was probably one of the greatest days, greatest games of my life.
Staying on that because I thought that game was amazing. How did you guys maintain your mental fortitude having lost that huge lead that you guys had and going into game 7? How did you guys rally as a team?
We just stayed together. We knew the media was gonna go crazy. We knew all the fans were gonna go crazy. But we knew what we had in that locker room. We know if we just connected as one and stayed together, we could do anything. It was up 3-0. They came back 3-3, and we understood that the job was just to get one more win, whatever it took. Coach Spo has a great way of motivating us and leading us. So we followed him, and went in there and got it done. So we just stayed together, and it's a brotherhood, it's a culture for sure.
What would you say? Now that's your biggest success so far. What would you say is your biggest failure or biggest disappointment so far in your basketball career?
Uh, I guess I would say when I first got to Philly, my first NBA team, I kind of let my foot off the gas. I would say I got too comfortable. I didn't understand that, just because I just signed this contract with the Sixers or whatever, it wasn't more work to be done or put in, the extra work that got me there in the first place. I think I learned that this time around with the Heat that, the object wasn't just to get back in the NBA, it was to stay and to like actually prove that I belong here. Because once you get there, the work just gets started. You literally got to just keep going and never stop. So I think my greatest failure would be just getting too comfortable when I first got to Philly, and ultimately I got cut. So that was on me, but everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, it sounds like it was like a little bit of a wake up call to kind of
Yeah,
know that, yeah, just like you said, once you're there, that's when the work starts. That's not when the work ends.
yeah, yeah.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
For me, it was kind of Kevin Durant. He's from my area. I'm from Baltimore. He's from DC. It's not too far from each other. Used to watch him in his OKC days, Seattle days, Golden State Warrior days, all that. So yeah, for me, he's Kevin Durant. Always been a KD fan.
Do you feel like you model your game after him, or is there another player that you model your game after?
Yeah, I'm not the scorer KD is. He's 7 feet tall, can shoot the ball from anywhere, shoots over anybody. He's a 7 foot sniper, 7 foot guard, whatever. I'm about 6'6", 6'7". So for me, I definitely try to add some things KD does. Like I like his left hand hezzy pull. I try to add that to my game. That's kind of one of my favorite moves to do. But for me, what I try to look up as for my game, I try to look at defenders, tough, hard-nosed guys who, do all the little things, the scrappy things, something like that, like a PJ Tucker, a Jay Crowder, Patrick Beverly, just a much taller version of Patrick Beverly, like dogs like that.
Now, would you say that you've had a role model during this entire journey going from D2 to the NBA? Is there someone in particular that's kind of been your role model?
Role model. I wouldn't say I had a role model. I just had a lot of a lot of support and a lot of love from a lot of different places. Didn't really have a role model. My father was there for me throughout the whole process. I had an uncle that was there for me throughout the whole process. My college coach. So just a lot of group of guys who believed in me and saw what I could do. It's not really a role model.
This episode is brought to you by Vitamin Water. Vitamin Water contains the optimal blend of electrolytes to fuel your day. So whether it's doing brain surgery or simply relaxing at the beach, Vitamin Water should be your source of hydration. Check out vitaminwater.com for more information and use promo code CROSSOVER for 20% off your first order. That's CROSSOVER for 20% off. Let's talk about the Heat in particular. Why do you think Coach Spoelstra and the Heat believed in you when others didn't?
Yeah, so the Heat have a way of finding these hidden gems, finding these undrafted guys, and making them, putting them on the big stage, and making the most of them. You see Max, Gabe, shout out to those guys who are getting paid this season, this offseason. I'm really proud of those guys, but it just shows you that the Heat do a great job of finding guys and developing them. For me, I think what stood out for me is they understood that I was defense first. I'm an unselfish player. I'm not going to sit here and complain if I shoot one shot a game. I'm not going to sit here and complain if I don't touch the ball for a few possessions. I'm just doing whatever it takes to win. Whether I got to guard the best player or rebound or whatever. So for me, it came with defense, and they knew they could help me develop my offense more. So they just understood that and kind of put me through that system. And I'm still developing, to this day. But it's definitely, I've definitely gotten better being here with the Heat. They do a great job of, developing us, putting us in positions where we're going to be successful, and just doing a great job of just understanding, who the best version of us that we could be.
Now, the Heat also have a notoriously tight knit organization. You mentioned it before. Game 7 going into Boston, that locker room really is a brotherhood, and they call it Heat culture. How important has that environment been for your success?
Yeah. Well, when I first got there, I didn't know too much about Heat culture. I heard about it. But once you get there, you really understand that it's a brotherhood. And they really take winning. They really take winning serious around here. Like they want to win at all costs. It's no tanking, none of that other stuff these other NBA teams are doing. It's always about championships. It's always about doing whatever it takes. So when I got here, I kind of, had to I kind of understood it more. I'm still understanding it now, but it's definitely real, and you can't really explain it too much. You got to be in a locker room to understand it.
Now having been in the NBA for several years and, being on the Heat, if you look back, what would you say are the three most important attributes for NBA success of any player?
Good question. Um, Mental stability for sure. It's gonna be ups and downs. Um, Mental stability. Um, I think having the right people around you for sure. Like your team. Whoever got you around you, your circle, having the right people around you, and just just a good a positive. It's a good question. The last one. So mental stability, a good circle around you, and just having that drive and that will to be great. The NBA season is a long season. So it's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be tough stretches. It's going to be long nights, early mornings, whatever. But it's all a part of the grind. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else but playing basketball for sure.
Now, that's great because the first thing you said was kind of mental stability. And this is a great question. I think it applies to really all professions. But in your opinion, what is more key to NBA success? Physical attributes and gifts or mental fortitude?
It's a good question. It's a great question. I definitely would say mental is more important than physical. I mean, if you're in the NBA, you're already physically, fit. Let's be real. They're not going to sign anybody who's not physically fit, not in the right shape, whatever. But not everybody has that mental stability. Not everybody has that, that mental toughness to get through certain things that happen in this sport, in this profession. It's not easy at all. People are going to talk bad about you, going to talk good about you, but you just got to just stay the course, never get too high, never get too low, and just understand that everything happens for a reason, and just keep going. Don't let nobody stop you from being your best.
That's a great way, I think, for anyone in general, succeeding, whether it's MBA, being a doctor, a lawyer, a business person, doesn't matter. You got to be able to have that drive and that work ethic. And I think you've been just an amazing example of that. What are your personal goals for this upcoming season?
Yeah, for me, definitely want to play more minutes. Make more impact with the team. Whether it's defense, scoring, rebounding, whatever. And always. I mean, personally, that's my kind of goals: play more, get more shots, get more opportunity. Get more, time. Team wise, definitely championship. We always, like I said, the Heat always about championships. So that's the number one rule, number one goal for us. But yeah, just for me, just continue to get better. Continue to develop my jump shot. It's looking good today. It's looking good this offseason so far. So just keep going with that and keep taking every opportunity and keep playing hard.
What is your off-season regimen, kind of like day to day? Are you up super early at the gym, on the courts, practicing 5 days a week, 7 days a week? Take us through that.
Yeah, pretty intense. I've been lifting 5 days a week at like 10:30. Sometimes I do basketball before that, 8 a.m., 7 a.m., or I do basketball after that, like 12, 1 o'clock. Just depends on the day. So I usually lift basketball, recover, get my body right. Eat good. I try to eat good food. I got like a chef who's cooking me some good meals. Try to take care of my body, be in the best shape possible. And then just come home and spend time with my family. That's pretty much it. So I got pretty much a full day, a lot of days.
Yeah, I mean I think that's a great learning point because there is no off season, right? It basically during the season you're grinding and during the off season you're grinding as well. So I think that's a great example for anyone out there. And final question, what would you say to any young men or women out there that want to be the next Highsmith?
Um, my first thing I'd probably say is, put the work in first and foremost. If you want to make it to this level, this profession, hard work has to come first, and it can't be, it can't be day, it can't be, oh, I'm gonna do this, that, no, it has to be every day. I mean, but you need rest days as well. But it has to be, you have to be locked in for sure. Control what you can control. Don't look at somebody else's journey and think it's going to happen as quick as theirs. Don't look at my journey and think, oh, I'm gonna have the same exact story as Hay. No, that's not. I mean, it's usually not how it works. You got to go through some things to get to where you want to go. You got to go ups and downs. It's going to be bumps, but just stay the course and just keep going. Don't give up. Because at the end of the day, you never know how close you are to where you want to be.
What a terrific message to anyone out there. And I think you're such a great example of someone who had a vision, never gave up. You're obviously physically gifted, but I think what separates you from other players coming out of D2 is your mental fortitude. The fact that you worked your way up, you're on one of the best NBA teams in the world. And good luck this coming season, man. I've been watching you, and the fact that your role is growing and growing, and you're part of that Heat culture, it's impressive, and you should be very proud of what you've accomplished.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that for sure, Doc. Appreciate it.
Well, have a great weekend, my man. Good
You
talking.
too.